Welcome, everyone. This here is Maple, and she and I want to welcome you very much to Flower Essences for you and your dog. Well, mostly for dogs, but I'm going to throw a little bit in here for you as well, because I think that taking care of the relationship, of the bond between both of you is something that is really important. So many of us get into essences, at least this is how I got into essences, by wanting to help my animals. And then, only eventually along the way did I realize, gosh, maybe some of these essences would help me too. And turns out, yes, they did. So, welcome everyone. I really encourage you. I'd love to make this as interactive as possible. So pop into the chat and go ahead and put your where you're coming from and your dog's name, or if you have a different sort of pet that wants to be part of this. We would just kind of like to get a feel for who's here. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. It's really way more fun if we have some real questions. I have some stories I want to share, but definitely questions are helpful. And feel free to raise your hand, and you can come on with me and ask your question directly if you'd like to do it that way. So I'd like to introduce the wonderful team of Flower Essence Studies. We have Ruth Toledo Altschuler and Rokana Feld both here helping me, playing along with dogs. And so oh, it's so fun to see. Andrea, nice to see you from Dartmouth. And Catherine in Somerset in the UK. Oh, across the pond. And she has Chloe and Remy. And Crystal is from Roberts Creek, BC, Canada, with Cash and Chloe. How cool. So yeah, please keep going, keep popping in there. We'd love to see you. Maple says hi. And at some point, we're going to want to try to get a little picture of everyone and their dogs on the screen, because that would be pretty awesome. Do you think we could try to do that now? Because that would be pretty fun to go back into
Sure, let's
gallery and
see
see if
if
we
the
can
dogs
see
get
if we can
picked
get
up right
dogs.
now.
That
Yay,
would be
come
super
on.
fun.
Tell me
Oh,
when,
look at
and
everybody.
I will get the
Oh, oh,
screenshot.
that's so sweet. Hi, everyone. Nice to see your faces. Perfect. That's so sweet. Oh. Look at all these lovely dogs. Look at all these beautiful people. What do you think? Huh? She's like, it's no moose, but pretty good. Kate's Maple, Kate, her predecessor. Mabel is in love with the moose on Northern Exposure, who walks through on the very opening sequences. So anyone who hasn't watched Northern Exposure, maybe your dog would enjoy watching moose too. So wonderful. We have lots of beautiful dog people here. Wow, so cool to see you all showing up. Yes, Rosemary, good call. Don't wake him up if he's trying to sleep. Um, yeah, so if we have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or to raise your hand. You can go into reactions on the bottom, Heinle and Tutu, reactions, and you pop your hand up if you have a particular question. But I could start out real quick. Oh, yeah, let's do that. Crystal.
I was wondering if you had a recommendation for a dog that gets really whiny on car rides. He's not
Okay.
so much anxious, he's more excited, I think, about where we're going and wanting to get there really fast. So I was just curious.
Okay. How old is he?
He's going to be 11 in April.
Okay. And has he always had this?
Always. Interestingly enough, when he goes to work with my husband, or he like it's a scheduled thing and he knows what the day looks like, he's totally fine. But if me and my husband are together, he knows we're going somewhere to go for a walk. It's beach walk time or forest walk time. So that's when he gets quite whiny. If it's just a normal day and he's going to hang out with my husband, he's silent. But we've just recently started doing some longer trips to go camping, and we love him to death. But at some point, 2 hours in, the whining gets a bit much.
Yeah. And so it's excited whining, right? It's
Yeah,
not
totally.
really nervous whining. It's
No, it's
it's
not.
just
I'm
sort
going
of
to the vet. Please don't take me. It's we're going somewhere fun, and I must be vocal about it for the entire car ride.
very interesting. And I'm trying to, I'm kind of going through my mind of the different Bach essences because that's kind of our primary and it's a really good starting place. So I'm always trying to think like which one of the Bach essences would be the most appropriate for this type of a situation. Um, and because it's not fear anxiety, it's excessive excitement anxiety. You might try impatience, which is really helpful for that. When the nervous system kind of gets overfired and overexcited and you try to figure things out ahead, you're impatient, you're trying it, the name is actually somewhat indicative of the uses. So when they're like anticipating things, that would seem to be an essence that would make sense to me. Um, that'd probably be my first try at it. You little monkey.
And so would
Um,
you sort of give it to him as like a certain period of time before you go, or is this like an everyday thing just to get a baseline for him going? Or
and if he shows that behavior at other times, then sure. If this is just really specific, in these circumstances, I would do it, when you start thinking about taking the trip, somehow when we start packing or when we start, planning and things that the pattern looks different, then they know, oh, something's up, something's interesting happening. That's when I would start using the essences. And have you used essences before with your dog?
not, no, not with the dogs.
Okay,
And that was sort of I guess I'm sure you'll cover this is how do we dose them, and
perfect
is like
opportunity.
the dosage bottle um, preserved with brandy safe and okay for dogs, or do we have to do a different preparation?
This is perfect timing. Thank you for
Good.
for asking the question. Yeah. And so Maple's like, that's interesting. This is one good way of telling if your dog is interested in a particular flower essence. Now, Maple's a puppy, and so I've been finding that she's kind of interested in everything. She loves flowers. I mean, I take her on walks and she puts her nose into every possible flower. So I don't know, maybe I got the right dog. Um, but so she's not an easy one to tell if it's the right essence or the wrong essence. When you have a dog who's a little bit older and a little less enthusiastic about life, they will often tell you whether it's the right essence or not, because they will put their nose into the thing that feels right to them. That you don't have to open it, you don't have to do anything cute. You can just put it up to them and they can pick. They can put their nose and go, yeah, that's interesting. They'll start breathing it in, honestly, in the bottle, because it's the energy. They're feeling the energy. And they'll turn their head usually and be like, mm-mm, that's not for me. So you can show them a bunch of different essences and try them to see which one is the right one. Okay. So that's one really nice way of working with essences. I have a rowdy. I have a rowdy on my hands. As far as giving the essences, if you're just giving in the moment and you need to get it into them ASAP, I was going to show five flower to start with, just because that's the all around, everyone should know about this. This is AKA rescue remedy. Five flower formula is the name of the version from Healing Herbs. And I really like to get it with the spray top, because that way I don't have to worry about fumbling a dropper and contaminating my bottle and all sorts of things like that. And all you have to do is this one you don't even need to put, let's see, let's start at the beginning. So for dogs, you can give them internally, but you don't have to. They respond really, really nicely to giving essences externally as well. So if you have any concerns at all, I hope this is fun. She's having fun. If you have any concerns at all about the alcohol in the formula, you can just use it externally. And that is oftentimes the way I recommend for people to use essences with their animals. So I'll have this bottle, and you can make up a bottle for yourself as well with a spray cap on it. And you can just go ahead and mist over top of your animal, and she'll breathe it in. She always licks the air when I've put essences over top, and she loves them. So that is one really easy way to get essences into your dog, is to get them onto your dog. And you can put them on your hands. So if I were to spray on my hand here and pet this rowdy creature, head over the top of the head. I like to pet the ears. So we have quite a few people here from the T-Touch community. And if you're doing ear work for an animal who's a little bit stressed, go ahead and put essences on your hands and do the ear work. I will definitely pet over the top line of the animal, head to tail. And that'll help settle them down. And so that's a really nice way to give essences, is to just do it strictly externally. Now you certainly can give them internally by, if you've got this rescue, you can just like spray it on a treat and hand it to them. That works out really, really well. And since we were talking about using individual essences, go ahead and, if you're doing it in the moment, you might not even want to create a dosage bottle because it's a little more trouble than you might need. You can just go ahead and put 2 drops of this essence, on a treat. You could put it in a water bottle if you're traveling with a water bottle, and you could just give them water from the water bottle, in a little bowl. Put it on them. You can put 2 drops on your hand, pet it on, and repeat as often as you might need to. In circumstances where you have an animal who's really riled up about being in the car, I would redose whatever essence you're using, whether that's rescue or what have you, every few minutes, because that's what you should do in a crisis anyways, is to go ahead and redose every few minutes. Let's see, what parts did I miss? You're asking about the alcohol, and definitely you have choices when you use essences. The good thing about essences is that it's not about putting a certain number of mLs into a certain pound of animal. It's not like that at all. All they need is they need to get the energy in their system. So you can use them externally and have 0 alcohol in the animal. You can use, 1 drop in a bowl of water and effectively have 0 alcohol in the animal. I like to use alcohol as a preservative in my animal formulas because then you can use it externally. If you are putting glycerin as your preservative, which I do, depending on, whatever the clients want is fine with me. When you use glycerin, then you can't use it externally because it's really sticky. So you don't want to do that. But they do like it. And I have a lot of clients who love the glycerin preservative, and they'll just put it in their hand, they'll put it on a spoon, they'll put it on a treat, and the animal will totally take it right out of there, very easily. They like the glycerin usually. Oh my goodness, I have such a rowdy on my hands. She's 6 months old, and it's spring, and she is completely full of beans. So. So Crystal, did we get through your questions? Does anybody else have
Yeah,
questions?
I think that's perfect. And then I thought of I never thought of actually like having an essence spray for like inside the car.
Oh my God, it's really helpful.
Yeah.
It really makes a difference. I remember I remember somebody in my practitioner training, she would talk about how, because she would have to travel with her cat sometimes, and they're in their crates in the back and they're not happy about it. And you just go ahead and just spray the compartment of the car and help everybody chill out on long car rides. So hopefully that will help.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah.
I have
Yeah,
a question.
Analia. Yeah.
Hi. It goes along with what she just asked. Tutu is a pug, and they are notorious for thinking you are killing them when you try to trim their toenails. Okay. Screaming, not whimpering, whining, screaming like a child being killed. So it's more dramatic than just whining. And I have a Dremel, and so what I've tried to do is use R plus, treat, 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 1 toenail, treat, 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 1 toenail. And but we still have a lot of screaming. And I was just wondering if there was something maybe a little more robust for that kind of I'm dying thing, not just because she does that in the car too. Like, she recognizes where we're going if we make a certain turn.
Yeah.
And she doesn't whine. She definitely speaks, she has this whole vocabulary. And because she knows where she's going. But I usually just say, wow, that's really loud, and I'm glad you're excited, but could we be quiet? And that usually quiets her down. But the toenail thing is stressful for me too, because I don't like her to be screaming and to be so upset. Yeah, I mean, I've had other dogs like Shorty, my Boston Terrier. He'd lay on his back in my lap and happy to have his toenails trimmed, but not her.
Yeah, she's different. Yeah, nails are absolutely a real trick, and it's gonna be a whole sequence of things to work with her.
Mm,
With any dog for toenails. I mean, it's
mm,
not easy for a lot of dogs. So there's not like one essence that's like the magical toenail
mm.
trimming happy dog
Yeah.
remedy. Just never going to happen probably. I mean, I hope it would happen, but realistically, let's
Mm,
get real here.
yeah.
So have you tried rescue remedy? That would be my first line, is to go ahead and try the 5-flower formula. Go ahead and just like I was doing, just sort of spraying over top,
Yeah. No, I
helping see,
haven't
and
because I
do it for
hadn't thought
you
about
too,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
because what's happening is, like, you're anticipating, she's anticipating, it's just
Yeah.
you're going into this delightful spiral. Maple is going to have a little time out right now. She's going to go chill out in her crate for a second, but
Okay.
I'm wild thing.
Yeah.
She's like, I can't hold still. um so start with a rescue remedy, see how that goes. And then we have a couple different possibilities
Mm,
for flower essences. And I'm definitely with you on the R plus. I would consider doing clicker training, because you can really get extremely specific about the timing of the reinforcer,
yes.
and help her to bridge, like, oh, it was me holding still that got that.
Mhm,
Obviously high value treats, not like the
mhm.
normal kinds.
Yeah.
And then the two essences that really make a lot of sense for this situation would be rock rose, because rock rose is really helpful for that terror of feeling like you're gonna die. And it
Hmm.
seems like she's a little dramatic, and she gets into that just absolute, just liquefying terror and screaming and hollering.
Hmm.
That would be something that I would think about. Star of Bethlehem is part of rescue remedy, and I think
Yes.
it makes a lot of sense in this context, where it helps to calm them down, calm down the nervous system, sort of get them to settle. But once she's already escalated, getting
Hmm.
her down is going to be a real hoot.
Right.
Lots and lots of fun. So those are two. Also, cherry plum is one that I would think about. Cherry plum, it's in 5-flower formula, but
Hmm.
I would try it individually as well,
Hmm.
because cherry plum is the mental terror. It's the mental torment where you feel like you're just going to explode. You're going to lose your mind. This is the one that I think of for people who have claustrophobia. Go in an elevator and you just start escalating, and you just, I gotta get out. I gotta, and they start, any dog who gets that, where they get like in a crate like that way, or if they are on a leash and they just want to explode, they blow up.
Hmm.
That's the kind of cherry plum kind of situation. Does that make
So
sense?
cherry
Did I?
plums, Star Bethlehem, and
Hmm.
what was the first one?
Rock rose.
Rock rose. Okay.
Rock rose.
I'll email you and order them from you. And I think what I'll do is maybe the morning that I'm thinking I might Dremel her toenails in the afternoon, I'll just start with those three, like every half hour, do one and then the other and then the other, and just see how it goes, and add into that the R plus, and also the one paw at a time. I don't have to do all four paws in
No,
one day,
no.
and I think that's a mistake sometimes that people make, that the whole job has to be finished, and it really doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really is. It's tough. And yeah, if you could even just do one nail,
Yeah,
just one
exactly.
nail,
And I was
just
going to
pick
tell
it up.
people about the brandy. My horse, you have made blends for him, and with brandy, and he would be at liberty. And I think I even sent you a video once, and I can drop some in the dropper and hold it towards him, and he will actually open his mouth and kind of move his lower lip over, and then I can just walk over and drop it, you know, in his lip, because I do think when it's not made into some sort of fight, that maybe they do associate how they feel after you've done it, and so I think that's interesting too, that if you can introduce it in a way that's a positive experience, like you're saying, don't do it when they're in the frenzy. I think that's a problem, like with essential oils, like with lavender. The dog is freaking out from the thunder and you present lavender. And
Now
so
you've
what
tied
do
those
you
in.
Yeah, yeah. So that, oh, lavender, and get scared.
No, it happens. You can
Yeah.
definitely get a relationship between things. But I mean, I don't know that you could ever do that with flower essences. I wouldn't try, but I think that they are more subtle, but it's absolutely true. When you are like right at threshold
Mm,
already, it's gonna take, you're not gonna just be able to take something and be able to come right out of that. So yeah,
yeah,
agreed.
exactly. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Wonderful. This is fun. Any other questions? And yes, Lori, I think you prompted me on cherry plum, and yep, I read it afterwards. Like, yep, that's what I was thinking too. And yes, Catherine, using Star of Bethlehem for yourself. It is one of these all around, give all the time to everybody kind of essences. I don't know that I could practice without Star of Bethlehem. It's so vital and important. It is an essence that helps you come back into your calm, safe bulb, like down under the ground where you're safe and protected and secure. So yeah. Yeah, Rita.
Hi, Kathleen. Thank you. So we have a 4-year-old, very active dog who has so many sweet qualities. He takes food in a gentle manner when you hand it to him. Um, he's just with the people he knows, he's very, very um, congenial and content. But boy, lately, out on a walk, he can be really unpredictable in terms of getting his hackles up and kind of having an aggressive stance towards what appear to me to not be any threat to me or to him. Um, Different dog walkers, other people I meet on the path, so to speak, have said, well, when dogs are on a leash, often they're very protective of their owner and tend to be on guard and like that. So I'm wondering, in addition to maybe him benefiting from some training, with a dog trainer, if there isn't an essence that might help him chill a bit and not feel like he's got to be on duty, um, in terms of um, shielding family members from perceived threats, because it seems to me that's what's happening. The thing
Mm,
that's difficult is it's unpredictable. He's a male dog, and he has some male dogs that are his pals in the neighborhood, and he sees them, he's happy to romp and play, and yet there's a handful that, oh boy, they just get within 25 yards, and the hackles go up. So they definitely have their way of communicating how they're feeling about different critters. And anyway, just
mm.
wonder if, in addition to us looking into some training, possibly, if there's
Yeah.
essences that would be supportive.
Yeah. Well, the thing that stands out to me the most is that this has not always been the case. This is a new situation.
Yeah,
Which is something to
I'm thinking,
really try to figure out what changed, because something changed for him in the way he sees the world and or how he has experienced the world. And it can be anything that, and this is where it's really, you put on your Sherlock Holmes hat to figure
yeah.
out like what was it that changed. And it can be something that makes no difference to us, but it makes the world a difference to him. So sometimes you can experience that when you've changed their harness and it kind of like,
Mhm,
pinches him in a certain way, and then he leans on it and then it pinches more, and all of a sudden he's feeling a pain stimulus and it's causing his
mm,
adrenals to freak out, and
mm,
those sorts of things. So this would be in the case if we were doing a consultation together, we would really figure out like when did this start, and unwind, try to figure out what the origin point is of it.
mhm. Yeah.
But in general, the essence that I'm thinking of the most is vervain. And I use vervain a lot with dogs who are working breed dogs, because a
If
lot of them
he
have.
is.
Mhm,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
A lot of them have very strong drives that they need to go and do, and they have a job and they need to go do that job. And so they can get a little bit overwrought about that, and a little bit they just get a little too wired and a little too intense. And
yeah.
vervain helps to bring that down. It does sound as if the situation is exacerbated by being on a leash. And a lot of times that will happen where a dog will feel like he can't protect you effectively, or he can't get away to the distance that he wants to because he's being restrained, which
Mm,
loops us back to the cherry plum type of dynamic where you
mm,
feel like you can't, you're just about to explode. You're just vibrating with like tension, and I can't do what I want to do, and I can't get out of this elevator or crate or whatever it might be. And a leash is the same sort of thing. So if you feel like you're being held tight and can't, and about to explode in contact with that, that's cherry plum. So vervain and cherry plum would be two essences that I would really think of in this context.
thank you.
And recommend definitely, you mentioned, getting some training sessions. I would be really, I am so, I so much recommend positive reinforcement dog training,
Mhm,
R
mhm.
plus, okay? Because there's
Uh,
a lot of folks out there who are, dog trainers, but they're using aversive methods. And I don't think that that's ever a good thing. But particularly if you have a dog who's fearful and they're maybe showing some what signs of aggression, you can escalate the heck out of that if you start adding negative reinforcement
mhm.
stimulus.
Thank you for
Okay.
that. Yeah,
So yeah,
makes
I think probably a lot of us here are, I just like to say it out loud because
Yes.
some people might see it later, and I just want to make sure we're all on the same page with what a good
Thank
way to
you.
go is.
I just as a cute little side note, a fellow dog walker, when I asked who trained her dogs, because she said they had issues similar at one point, she said, yes, a local company or little business here in the town I live in, it was called Dopamine, Canine Dopamine. And
Ah,
they're all about positive reinforcement. So it was right there in the name. So thank you for reminding me about that important element. Thank you, Kathleen.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rita. Tanya.
Hi, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Hi. Hi, Kathleen. Nice to meet you. Hi,
Hey, good to
everyone.
meet you too.
Hi.
Um, so, have a cat named Yoda. Loves my dog Padme, but seems to be very jealous of her. She was never like this before. I know she's picking up a lot of the energy in the house I'm living in. It's not my house. I'm here temporarily. There's a lot of negativity and just crazy stuff. So I'm always trying to spray and keep everything balanced. So she loves her. The cat loves the dog, but she'll like lick her. And but when it comes time for food,
Mm.
or if my dog is on the bed in the kitchen, because she's older, so I don't want her to lie on the floor, she starts meowing like, "What do you think you're doing? Get off that bed. That's my bed." All that kind of stuff.
Mm.
Again, she was never like this before. Loves her. It's not like they fight or anything. When it comes to food, it's like you better not give Padme food first. It's got to be me. So she cries and yowls like as if she's being murdered.
Mm.
Like and I feed her every 2 hours
Mm.
because she's had teeth issues. Had that rectified. I still give her small amounts. She's like 15. So I've tried stuff for jealousy.
Mhm.
Didn't work. I even tried stuff for neediness. That didn't work.
And you're talking about some of the Bach remedies?
No, that's why I don't want to say no.
Oh, okay. All right. Just checking because I don't want to repeat something that you've already
Yeah.
tried, right?
No, and I haven't tried any of it because this is all FES, right?
Well, I can talk about whatever we need to talk about.
Oh,
I thought I'd start with the Bach remedies because those are the ones that are the best known, and you
please.
can get them pretty easily and all that. But yeah, I certainly use a range of many different essences in my practice. So
Oh,
yeah, we can
don't
talk
know
about that.
for thing. Okay, okay. So again, I've used like neediness, OCD, and a jealousy one
Okay. Okay.
from
So
another.
probably for everyone else listening, so probably you're talking about Heather, which is kind of the one we think about for kind of needy attention-seeking behavior. And then jealousy, Holly is usually the essence we use for jealousy. And Holly is one
Okay, good
that
luck,
I
Jessica.
always think about using in multi-animal households where there's just a lot of competition for resources and attention and love. And then OCD, probably white chestnut. I'm going to just guess that probably that was white chestnut. And white chestnut is really helpful for the I don't use it as much in animals, but sometimes when they get a little fixated on things, when they get fixated on a toy or they get fixated on the way that things should be, and they just like can't let go of that. So those are the three that you mentioned. So I think that it would be really useful for you to use like what we might call a household type treatment, because if you're staying with someone and there's a lot of dynamics going around in the house, I would definitely think about spraying holly into the air. And the way that I recommend doing this for a lot of my clients, because this comes up a lot, is to make up a bottle. It can be, with whatever. If you make it up every couple of days, you don't need to use a preservative, and just go ahead and spray the corners of each room twice a day. And that'll help just set the tone of the house, and might help with some of these other aspects. Um, for your kitty, for Yoda, how about you give a try with Trillium flower essence? That's from the Flower Essence Society. And Trillium is really helpful for feeling like you're never getting enough. They use the word greed, and I don't like to really use the word greed because that it's so triggering and nobody feels good. But it's that sensation of that there's not enough coming to you, that you won't get what you need, that you're going to starve. And that would be one that I would really consider giving a try. And then just in general, the yarrow essences, and the FES has the basic white yarrow, which is just called yarrow, which is a very important essence for everybody and animals, for helping us feel a sense of boundaries. Because sometimes when we're sharing space with everyone else, all the energies are kind of merging and complicating life. So yarrow is kind of an all around good shared space type of an essence. And I would do holly and yarrow into a bottle and spray into the house, and that's a really nice combination.
Kathleen, this is fantastic advice. Thank you so much. Because it's a
You're welcome.
hospice situation, and there's also caregivers coming in from whatever they're bringing in. And as many times as I do prayers to clear the air from entities, the whole 9 yards, metaphysically, stuff can still creep, especially if this isn't my house, it's not my roots. You know what I mean? I'm not on the deed, so it's not like it's my energy that's going to go out and empower. I'm dealing with hospice, death, dying, doom, and gloom, you know, an
That's
array
intense.
other. If I could turn this around, you would see flower essences everywhere. And I'm like,
Cool.
okay, what do I need now? Because I need to breathe. What do I need?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to be, and then I don't want the animals to get it off of me.
Okay. Yeah. Yarrow, and pink yarrow too.
Well, that was my question. I know there's
Yeah.
white, pink, and yellow.
Yeah. Yeah. The regular yarrow is just called yarrow, and that's the white yarrow. All around great. Pink yarrow is really, really good for this, because you're in an emotionally intense environment. The animals are absolutely picking up on that, no doubt. And it's going to help them go, okay, that's their stuff. I don't have to absorb it, take it in, experience it, process it for the collective. I can just leave that with you.
Oh, God. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I
Cool.
research, and then sometimes I get lost.
Uh,
You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's like hello,
I have no idea what you're talking about. There's
Exactly.
only thousands of essence in my cabinet. How would I possibly get confused
That's
ever? No.
all too familiar for me, honey. I get you.
Yeah. All right.
One other quick
Uh-huh.
Yoda the cat again. I don't know if this is associated with what I've just presented to you. Treating her for E. coli, the vet said, "Oh yeah, even when they clean themselves, lick their bum, blah blah blah," and then sometimes it can settle. Okay, so I know that's more of a physical, maybe Western medicine issue, but I feel like the root cause can still come from maybe something etheric. I've treated, I've treated her Western with pills.
Yes.
One didn't work. The other one made her vomit uncontrollably. It was awful to watch. it's going back to get cultured to see what can we specifically do. But that's pill Western medicine.
Mhm. Yeah.
Is this something you've ever come across for bladder, urine, having that E. coli issue? Is that too much to?
I wouldn't, and certainly yes, absolutely. You have to go to your vet. You have to go through that route. You have to do everything you need to do there. So
Yeah.
I'm not making any recommendations.
I know.
I'm going to be like bold disclaimer. I'm not making any medical recommendations here. On an energetic level,
Yep.
what I would do if I were you, is I would look at, there's a formula called purification from the Alaskan Essences.
I
And
love
that
Alaska.
is a wonderful formula for clearing the air. You can get it in drops. You can also get it in spray, and the spray has a little bit of essential oil. And using that in the environment, and perhaps if Yoda likes the feel of that bottle of the drops in the water, probably too. That's what I would recommend.
I buy that. I love Alaskan Essences.
They're the best. Well, not the best. They're great.
They're strong. It's raw energy. It's amazing.
It's great energy.
You know
Wonderful.
what? Thank you. You've armed me well.
My
thank
pleasure.
you so much,
My
Kathleen.
pleasure.
It was so
Absolutely.
nice to talk to you.
Nice talking with you too.
Thank
Have
you,
a good one. Yeah, Adele. And I'll answer the quick a question while we're looping in here. Catherine was asking about mixing flower essence with water to make it work better in a spray bottle. Yes, sorry, I skipped a step. So what I would do is have an empty bottle of whatever size, whatever size spray bottle that you've got around, and putting in a few ounces of water, a nice spring water if you've got it, something nice and clean and pure. And then you can go ahead and put, 2 or 4 drops from the stock bottle, which is whatever you'd be purchasing at the pharmacy or online. This is a stock level. This is also a stock level. And you go ahead and just put a few drops in that bottle, give it a good sloshing, and go ahead and spray it. If you're not putting a preservative in there, I would like you to clean out and refresh that bottle every couple days, so that you don't grow anything scary in the bottle. So hopefully that helped answer the question. Of course, there are, I'll provide some resources at the end for kind of more specific dosing, but I think maybe that'll get us there. Okay. Adele, yay. Hi.
Hi, good evening. Marley, our dog, we got him in the middle of COVID. So he was used to not a lot of people coming onto the farm. So now it's, if anyone comes around the house, even if I'm outside and I walk past the window, he's barking at the window and they're going, it's me, it's okay, But even in the house, the only way I can let people into the house is by giving them a treat and letting him be outside the room, let them sit at the table so he can't nip at them too easily, and let them have a treat to give to him. So that's working, and that's eased things a bit, but it still causes a bit of friction with my husband, because he comes in and he's snarling and growling at him, and then he settles down. So he's not as bad as he was, but if my husband comes near me, he kind of jumps up and kind of gets in between my legs and my husband's legs to guard me from my husband. So Fergus is starting, it goes through phases of where he gets really frustrated with him and says, this can't keep going on, because it's like, sometimes it's like he's ruling the house, so then there can be friction between the two of them then. So then, but you mentioned something on your dog course about fawning. So sometimes I think he does a bit of that. So I'm not sure, like I thought I bought him off a family, and then I have suspicions that maybe he wasn't a family. So I'm thinking that maybe he might not have been treated well before we got him when he was 3 months old. So it's just, he's very, I've tried him with Vine to see if that would stop him from being, because if I go towards my husband, then he goes to try and nip my husband's ankles, to protect my husband, to protect me, even though it's me going towards my husband. And we don't even be joking. It's like whatever. There's never any arguments, let alone violence in the house. So it's literally just we'd be laughing, and but if my husband comes towards me, he's in between to protect me, and if I go near my husband, he's in the middle protecting me. that makes any
Okay.
sense. But
Yeah. No, I totally, you're getting a resource guarding situation. You're getting a stranger danger situation. This is one that would really benefit, um, working with more intensively than what I could advise you just in this moment.
yeah,
Um, because this can be a really complicated thing to unwind. And also just, you have to just recognize that it could potentially be dangerous. When you have a dog who's doing this, you don't want to take it lightly because, somebody could get hurt.
yeah,
Just throwing that out there
yeah,
as a primary thing. So we talked about vervain already. I would look at
yeah.
that. When I'm working with dogs, I will almost always start with the Bach essences because for whatever reason, like Bach and dogs are like such a good match.
Okay.
Most of the time I work with my dog clients like one time and then they're fine. So it can be amazing how like dead on and quick they can change. So vervain is a good option. Vine was a good thought. And it's interesting that that wasn't it. Impatience can be a thing because
Okay.
he's just a little too tightly wound. And then I want to talk about agrimony too, because I would look at agrimony also. I was just working with a dog recently who was having this resource guarding situation with the other dog and the husband, and would start a squabble with the other dog when the husband would walk into the room. And
Okay.
agrimony was one of the essences that we used in the formula. And that squabbling has not reoccurred. And agrimony is, if you think about it in the classical idea of how you would use it for people, it's for people who always have the smiling face and who are trying to make everybody have a good time. And yet inside they're really tense. And, Bach used the word tortured. There's a lot of that's not an uncommon remedy. It's not an uncommon situation. It's like just trying to make everything okay with everybody else. And sometimes dogs take that role in the household where they feel responsible for watching everybody and managing everybody. And especially since he's so concerned about who's coming into the house and who's around the house, he may have a lot of that internal tension all the time because he's always on high alert.
Yep.
So give agrimony a try. It can really change that dynamic pretty quickly and pretty dramatically if
Okay.
that's what's happening, right?
I'll try to.
um,
Also, he
yeah.
gets. We can't take him anywhere in the car because he gets sick.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it's like, and it doesn't matter if I'm bringing him into the kennels if we're going on holidays and he can't come with us. He'll make it like 9/10 of the way, and then he gets sick, and you're like, oh, we nearly made it.
We're so
So it's not,
close.
yeah. Is there anything to help settle that?
Yeah. And that is a question that came up. Nadia asked a question about car sickness because it's a thing. Um, um, we I'm already
Mhm.
part of your team, Adele. What we want to do is we want to
Okay.
see if we can unwind all on board. We want to see if we can unwind some of this base level tension because every day in his life, he's thinking, oh my God, somebody's going to come on the property. Oh my God, something's going to happen. Oh my God, I have to be in charge. I have to what if he walks in? I mean, you can kind of hear this
Yeah.
dialogue, this tense
Chatter.
dialogue going. Yeah. And so bringing that level down is going to help with everything. It's also going to help with the car thing.
Okay.
For car sickness in general, I do definitely look at Mimulus. Although he doesn't really sound like a Mimulus type, but I'm just this is for Nadia. It can be really dramatic for timid dogs who are really concerned about leaving the property, or they're like not really sure that they want to go in the car. And car sickness is a lot about a level of anxiety underneath. So helping them feel safer and calmer in whatever way you do is going to help with that car sickness. So Mimulus is one that I do use a lot for car sick dogs. Or for helping dogs who are car sick. And then also, for my T-Touch friends, and for people who don't know about T-Touch, one of the impulses for having this live today was to talk about the new course Canine Care. Oh, and my video went away. Hi, you're back. One of the impulses was to talk about this new course that we have on flower essence studies called Canine Care. And in that, I do talk about a lot of all of the Bach essences, how you use them with animals, and how to make up dosage bottles, and all the basic nuts and bolts. And as well, I have a whole segment in there about that. I was thinking, like, what mostly do I work with, rescued dogs or dogs who are like yours, Adele, where there's a lot of fairly complicated stuff because his early experiences were a little tricky.
I can get.
Um, and so what I tried to do is kind of create an equivalent to a consultation, where I talk about all these different essences that I recommend for dogs, and to help unwind some of these really typical situations that happen with rescue dogs, rehome dogs, shelter dogs, who had tough childhoods, let's say. I've got a lot more information in that course. But hopefully this gives you a starting place to start working. And I also have, as part of that, is a little bit of T-Touch, because T-Touch is absolutely something that I love and recommend. And I gave you a little bit of a video of how to do ear work for dogs, and that's a really good thing to try for your car sick pup if you've got somebody who can drive with you and you can practice. And I'll see if I can wake my little nugget up and show you a little bit. So T-Touch is great. T-Touch ear work is one specific technique of working the ears, which is really helpful for nausea. And then also body wraps, which now you can get these nifty, handy things called thunder shirts. And sometimes those are really good for dogs who have some from car sickness, among other things. Did that help, Adele? Keep talking. I'm going to try to get my little nugget out.
Yeah, that's super. I bought your course and I'm halfway through it, so it's great how you break down all the Bach flower essences as well. So I find it great. I haven't got as far as the T-Touch yet, but I'm working my way
It's in
down
there.
through it.
Oh, good, good. Yes. Yeah, the earwork, it's something that's so easy to learn. You're gently stroking the ears, and the level of contact you want to use is like stroking a rose petal. So you just do a nice, soft, smooth stroke from the base to the tip. And you just want to contact all of the surface of the ear. Hopefully y'all can see. She's all sleepy now. She's so easy. And you work both ears, and that can really help with car sickness, with just anxiety in general. The acupressure point for one of the acupressure points for shock is on the very tip of the ear. So if you are in a crisis, go ahead and pay a little extra attention to that point as well. Okay. And Florencia, I think you've been waiting for a little bit. I have to come off of mute.
Yes, I have to get back to my picture to unmute myself. Yes, hi, thank you. My question is, and I got some of the names of things that I think relate somewhat to Freddy. He's a rescue, he's 9. I got him when he was about 4 or 5, and he was never socialized. So he's pretty fearful, or I like that word you use, timid, around other dogs. And he's not, and also the other thing you mentioned, he didn't get enough food that, play in different situations, even at the place that was fostering him, their dogs ate his food. So he's very food motivated, but he doesn't do any resource guarding. So it's just food is very important to him. Like you said, he didn't have it growing up, so he's afraid he's not going to get enough. But the main thing, or one of the main things I'm curious about, is the timidness. And he goes to school every week. A friend of mine is a trainer. He's around lots of other dogs. He's come out of his shell tremendously.
Oh, good.
But I still feel like there's another tool that could be added to help him, so he doesn't feel like he has to be on guard the whole time.
Yeah, Mimulus for that timidity, and Larch.
Okay.
This is very much a Larch situation.
Okay.
Larch is another one of these Bach remedies. Larch is for developing confidence and courage to try new things that,
Perfect.
you might fail at first, but it's going to be okay. You just kind of keep trying again.
I'll
Larch is
have some of that for myself at the same time. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I cannot tell you how often I'm having conversations with my clients and we're talking about their animals and I'm talking about some of the essences and they'll be like, "That sounds like something I could use." And I say, "Yes, please." It is so common that we share situations, emotions
Oh yeah,
with our animals.
that's been going on
Really.
a long time here, which is good, because then we help each other, we
Mhm.
remind each other. But
Exactly,
okay, okay,
exactly. So yeah, feel free, everybody. If I've said something that's for your animal and you think maybe that's for me, take it too, please, please. More essences out in the world, please. Everyone
that
take them.
exactly. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Valencia. Akila, if I got your name right, I hope I did.
Yes, you got it right.
Oh.
Thank you. This is so informative. I have a dog who every time I step out and return home, she acts like it's like life and death. Where did you go? She sounds like a girl. That's exactly how she says. You're with me. You're with me.
Oh,
Every
yeah.
time. It doesn't matter if I'm just gone for 5 minutes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Come back and she does the same thing. And I try
Mm.
to not encourage it by like trying, because I read that you shouldn't feed into it or just try to like keep going, not make a big ritual. I don't know.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Yeah. So does she do anything when you're gone? I mean, is she worried while you're gone, or is this just like, oh my God, you're back.
no,
It's so cool. Okay. So,
no,
so she doesn't worry when you leave. She's
no.
just crazy excited when you get home.
Right. When I leave,
Okay.
she sits at the door and is like, oh, you're leaving. She knows I
Okay.
have to go, but it's when I come back, like she pushes my legs and she's like, she's so dramatic.
Maybe you're just awesome. I don't know. Does everybody do that when you walk in the door? No? Okay. All right. Well, let's see. Um, that's really interesting because that's not standard separation anxiety. That's like reuniting delight. But yeah, okay,
Yeah.
maybe we want to bring down the volume a little bit. That is a absolutely new situation. I have never heard of this particular dynamic. Probably what I would do is work with it primarily behaviorally, where and this is a tactic that you would use with separation anxiety is to teach her to find something. So with a dog who has separation anxiety, a lot of times what'll happen is just before the person is coming home is when it peaks. And that's when they'll destroy the sofa or, when people come home. And she's not doing this, but this
Oh,
tactic might be helpful also. Is what you do is you teach them to get a Kong and that you'll stuff it the second you get home. Are you familiar with a Kong? It's like an empty rubber. Okay. And you put something delicious in there, and what you do is you teach them to go get their Kong the second they see you, and they'll show up with it and they'll have it in their mouth and they've got something to kind of like put some of this energy into. And then you go and you put something delicious in it, like a little peanut butter or whatever. And that's something that you can do to help defuse that separation anxiety, gives them something to do with their energy rather than destroying sofas. But, that may not be specifically what's going on with her. Any of the calming essences might be useful here, like Star of Bethlehem. This because this is not one that I've dealt with a lot. I can't go, oh, I know what to do. But you can keep trying. So I would try the Star of Bethlehem and see if that helps to settle things down. I would probably try Heather also, and you can do them together. Those would be the two that I would think of because this Heather thing is for kind of that childish behavior, and that is kind of a puppy thing where they just kind of lose their lose their marbles when they see their person and they just, oh, I'm so excited to see you. Oh my God. So that's what I would try. And then see what happens. The good news about essences is you can't make a mistake. Nothing bad will happen if it's not the right one. Nothing will happen. So you're safe
And
to
one
try.
more thing, if you don't mind, is
Mm.
wheels. She's so fascinated with wheels. So if someone skates, boards, or rides their bike, she wants to chase them and bark and run after them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the prey drive. And that's a vervain thing usually.
Okay.
Using vervain for that, because that's something that especially I think of vervain with I mean, it's both sound and visual, but it triggers that prey drive. So if they see kids riding bicycles outside the house or somebody runs and they want to chase, that vervain will help to settle that down. You usually have to do a little training too, to distract, to reinforce that you're looking for their attention. But vervain is the essence that kind of helps bring that down.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Nice talking with you. And Ruth, you asked a question about Scleranthus for the dizziness of car sickness. I haven't tried it that way. I think that it's a legitimate use, and it would be worth a shot. Usually with dogs, car sickness is anxiety related rather than the dizziness. So if you help them, helping them see out is better, but also it's a lot of times it's anxiety. But yeah, worth a shot. Cool. This has been really fun. Does anyone else have any final questions before we do our before we do the little group send off? I'd love to hear from more of you. Feel free to reach out. We're going to be posting this video afterwards. We love to hear from you. You can just email hello@floweressencestudies.com. I hope that everyone is going to take a look at the Canine Care course. We have it on sale. We're doing a launch special. The full price is $67, which is a heck of a deal. It's like less than the price, like half the price of a consultation with me. But for until March 1st, it is on sale for $47. So it's a heck of a deal. I put a lot of love into it, and Maple contributed as well. She's still teething a little bit. And you'll learn a lot. There's a lot to know, but it's also not complicated. And I've got it really broken down for everyone so that you can just get to the parts that you want rather than having to go to wade through hours and hours and hours of video. So yeah, any other, so thank you, Mariana. Thank you so much for signing up. Oh, and Robin. Oh, Robin Hood's here. Oh, how cool. And Rob, she's wonderful. She's from the T-Touch organization. Thank you so much for being here with us. She says some dogs have neck issues which cause car sickness. So it could help with dizziness, the Scleranthus. Cool. Thank you. Robin is an incredible expert in T-Touch with dogs and horses and all creatures. So awesome resource. Thank you, Robin. So nice to see everyone. Should we all go back on gallery and be able to see each other's dogs or other creatures? Cats are welcome, and then certainly tiny humans, if there are any tiny humans, we enjoy seeing those too. So Maple's going to come and say hi and bye, and she's behaved herself just as well as she possibly could, and she's giving you all licks and kisses. So, oh. Look at all these sweet puppies. It's so sweet. Thank you, everyone, for bringing your dog to Zoom Day. And I hope you learned stuff. I hope you had fun. It was really nice talking with you all. I really enjoyed this. And I hope we see you all again really, really soon. Bye. Bye. So fun. Haven't you had a good time, Miss Maple? Yes, you have had a good time. Little snuggler. And let's see, did anybody have one last little question? We'll answer later on. It's been fun. Bye, everyone.